Assignment time. Now, it's time to test out your posability of the bug and test out your skill with the bones and weighing and everything else. And how I'm going to test you out is the fact that you're going to create a composition. First off, I will show you how to get a flower. Okay? But you got to promise me not to abuse this tool. Please only make 2 or 3 flowers. If you feel that you need to make more, do not turn in a field of flowers to me. Okay? The reason for this is it lags quite badly. So here's the tool. It's under rendering, paint, get brush. Okay. Under here I have flowers and flower meshes. I would use the flower meshes because they closely resemble the flower. The flowers are a really low representation of them. In other words, this is almost like a poly object. The other one is more like a sprite. Then I also need you to go into paint, template, brush settings, and I set my global scale to 10 because that allows me to do this. Let's say I grab a brush, and in here I click, drag, let go. Oop. And don't forget, once you grab a brush, you also then have to go into the brush template setting and set it back to 10. So it defaults back at its normal state of like 0.2222, and that's really, really small. Okay, so click and drag once, let go, and give it a sec, and all of a sudden you have a field of flowers. So that's what I'm talking about. Be very careful with this tool. It's very powerful. Okay, so some of these are small. Some are just utterly freaking huge, and what happens is they lag quite badly. So click and drag once. There we go. Nice. If you need to move it around, it's no big deal after the fact. You can move the curve, that little tiny curve right there, you can move, and you can arrange your flowers. Now what happens is when you render these things, they look pretty amazing. Just under the default render, you can see that it looks pretty freaking cool. So you could imagine if you tweak this out a little bit and use Mental Ray, or I think Mental Ray fails with these, yep. You have to use Maya software to render these things. But at least here in the render setting, you can turn it to a production quality. And then when you render them out, they look even more amazing. But it's not about the flowers. It's about the little critter. Okay, so your mission is to plant a couple flowers, throw your critter on it, and pose them up in a dynamic pose. Okay. Also, along with the dragonfly, which is required, I want your other bug. You know, the one that you produced in the last lesson. After you get done, you have to kind of produce a composition with the 2 bugs. So I went over composition in one of the previous videos. I think it was the curve video. You have to turn on film gate, and that's what this green box is. And a composition just kind of puts both of the bugs in kind of perspective. So in this case, I would have the other bug in the background. It could be an ant crawling up this one. It could be the ant more up focus and the dragonfly flying in the background. But you have to have 2 bugs, and they have to be in the scene. And when I open the scene up, I want to see this. I want to see all these bones named conventionally on both creatures. I want to see the weights actually function quite well. In other words, if I move this wing, I'm looking to see, as an example, this wing is moving some of the vertices on the other wing. Should that happen? No. Okay. So left some stuff in there so I can give you an example. Yeah, that's bad. And that means I would have to weigh out that. Because this is just a still life, but what if I had the wings flapping a little bit? When you're done, pick a good composition. So in this case, something that is of interest to the user, and maybe draws them in a little bit. Like that maybe. And don't render it. I don't want to see the render. In fact, I like the beauty of it as just the way it is. You could probably turn off the bones. Nope. Leave everything active. Leave everything just like this so I can assess it well. Okay? And the best ones I can use on promotion and all that good stuff. All right. Enjoy the lesson. Enjoy the assignment. And see you in the next chapter.